So assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to start a new topic, which is functions. So what are functions? Functions are usable pieces of code that run when you call them, and we have already used functions such as print function, input function, and many more like bool function and is instance type, and also int function, and we also have a new function here which is input, which lets us take inputs from the user. So what this input function does, it shows its argument on the screen, and whatever user enters in the console or the terminal, input function takes it and stores it in a variable, and we are showing it using the print function. And int function converts a number, boolean or numeric string into an integer. Okay, so we can make our own custom functions, but there are certain rules to define it. We have to use the def keyword followed by the name of our function. So here it is, def keyword, our name of the function, and name of the function will follow all the rules that normal variables do. For example, we cannot put a number as our first starting character of a variable name. So same applies with the function name, and we put def keyword and function name, then parenthesis, then colon, and beneath it we start our function body or definition that tells us what the function will do when it will be called. So, and one other thing, the body of a code block will have an indentation of a tab or 4 spaces. Okay, so whenever we want to use the function in our program and do whatever calculations or printing we want on the screen, or in other words, we want all the functionalities that are in the function body to be used later in our program. So what we do, we call our function, we write the function name, then parenthesis, and we can make a function to calculate. We can make a function that takes 2 arguments and prints their sums. So we are going to check what are parameters or arguments here. So here we call them parameters. So parameters are those placeholder variables that acts at the slots values you pass in the function when you call them. So these are like places or dummy variables where you store the original data passed in the function call. So when we want to use parameters, we have to pass arguments which are real numbers or variables that are passed to the function when you call it. So we write the function name, again parentheses, and we pass the arguments in the same order in which the parameters are written in the function definition. Yes, these a and b variables are placeholders. When we call the calculate sum function, this 3 will replace a and 1 will replace b. So wherever in the function a is written, it will be replaced by 3, and wherever b is written, it will be replaced by 1. So and subsequent calculations will be performed on them. And also, if we already have made up a function which takes 2 arguments, then we should call it by passing arguments. We cannot call that function without passing any arguments, otherwise it will give a type error. Functions also use special return keywords to exit the function and return value. If you don't explicitly use return, Python will return none by default. So what is null data type? It is the absence of any value. So this is that same calculate sum function here again, and later in our program we are making a variable mysum, and on the right hand side we are calling calculate sum function and passing it 2 arguments. So what it does, it calculates these 2 values and returns them. So one thing, calculate sum function returns nothing because we had not defined any return type, so it does not returns back any value when exiting the program, when exiting the function. So this just shows the sum of these 2 arguments, and returns are none data type. So none value will be stored in mysum variable, and when we show it in on the output, it will show none. So if you want to return the real value from a function when the execution of the function finishes, and we have to use that return value in our program, we have to write return data type behind the expression or the value that we want to return to the calling place. So calculate sum is written here. What it does, it performs again same calculations, and when it reaches this line, it will calculate the expression and return the result. So it will return 3 plus 1 4. So here 4 integer value will be returned, and it will be stored in mysum, and mysum shows 4. So let's make a new file, make a program. Let us make a program here which takes a number from user and prints its table on the screen. So we are going to use the newly learned input function. It shows a string and takes an input, a value from the user. So enter and integer, and we are going to make our new variable or new function, which is there. Table So I'm going to use the f string here because we have to show the variable value and some calculations. So I'm going to put the value of num into, so we are going to print a function here like this. So if a number is 2, then we are going to print 2 ones are 2, and 2 2s are 2, 3s are 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. So we are going to print first number which is given by the user and a number that is being incremented. So let's make another function here. So let's make another variable that will increment one by one. So that is n, and let's assign it an initial value 1. Let's make it counter. Let's put counter equals to, and the result of the multiplication of the number with the counter. So number multiplied by counter. Let's make it till 5 only. So we have to increment it every next step. So how do we increment it or update its value by 1, or in other words, how do we add some value to an existing value of a variable? We use augmented assignment operator. So plus equals to 1. So let's put it out there. Okay, so we are going to give it a num, and num function is being so, and this num variable is not the same as this one, because this one is exclusively for table function. So, and this num function is not and so these two are not same. And what we are going to do, we are going to call the function by not using these indentations, so we are out of the scope of the variable or definition of the variable or definition of the function. So we are calling the table function and giving it the num, so this one num. So we are giving this num, and this num will be shown here. Let's execute it. So we are giving it 2 and enter. Let's check its type here. Yes, so input function is converting the integer we are giving to a string. So we are going to convert it, that string, to an integer. So we are going to use int on it, so it will convert the string to an int. Again we press enter 2, and yes, we have got our results. So we enter 2, we are putting a table till counter 5, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So what we did here, I made a new variable. So we are prompting the user to enter an integer, and whatever users enter this input function will treat it as a string. So but we want an integer value, so we converted that returned value from the input, that is a string, to an integer using int function, and stored that in a num variable. And we have created a function called table, which takes a parameter num, and we have defined another variable within the function, which is counter, and set its value to be 0. And in the print function we used fstring to print the value of num, then a character x, then the value of counter variable, then the symbol equal, and x and equal are treated as a string here, and the multiplication of num variable with the counter variable. So the result will be shown as a single integer, and after that we are incrementing the counter variable by 1. Same goes with the next line. What it does, it takes the num variable, which is same throughout the table function, but the counter variable is incremented by 1. So this result will be changed, the multiplication result will be changed. So if the number is 2, counter will be 2, and counter started from 1, counter will be 2 now, so 2 1 2 2s are 4, and counter is incremented again by 1, and so 2 3s are 6, and counter will increase to 4 and 5, and just like that. So and the multiplication result will change accordingly. So we are getting a table like this. Like we can check the table of, I will call it enter 5, and we are getting a table of 5 till 5. So let's check this. What is the default return value of function in Python? So return value of default return value is none. So we call a placeholder in a function a parameter. So def keyword is used to define a function. So yeah, this is it for today. We will learn about scope in Python in the next video. Till then, Allah Hafiz.